What is up, guys? Randomonium here with a special video. Preseason is quickly drawing to a close and Season 6 will begin very shortly. And something that I've been constantly thinking about over this entire preseason has been my champion pool for Season 6. That's the motivation behind a lot of these videos I've been doing, to try and flesh out my champion pool, figure out who I want to play once the season starts. And if you look at a lot of high-level gamers, high-level streamers, pretty much anybody who's not like a one-trick pony, pretty much all of them will tell you that it is vitally important that you have a solid champion pool if you want to succeed in ranked play. And while there's some great advice on the internet on how to develop a champion pool, I feel like a lot of them are maybe not as intuitive as they could be, or maybe they're not just as methodical or logical as they possibly could be. So I wanted to walk you guys through my process for developing my champion pool. I'm not saying that this process is the best process. I'm saying that this is the process that has helped me develop my champion pool, and I hope that it will help you develop your champion pool as well. So you can see on the screen, this is the final product that you guys are going to be working towards. This is the champion pool that you guys can develop on your own. But to develop a champion pool, you have to break it down into 3 steps. And those 3 steps are: what champions do you find fun to play? What champions are you good with, which is not always the same thing? And how does that champion fit in the current meta? So the most important thing is, what champions do you find fun to play? You should always play champions that you find fun. If you're not playing champions that you enjoy, then you're not going to enjoy the game and you're going to eventually get burned out. So you always want to play champions that you have fun with. There's plenty of champions out there that are very powerful, but also very fun to play. So the first step of step 1 is you want to list out each champion that you own that can be played in each role. So for top lane, I want to list out every single champion that I could possibly play in top lane. I'm going to do the same for jungle, mid, ADC, and support. And I can also fill out what champions I don't own as well. So if I go into League here, if I'm going to do top lane, I can say, alright, well I can play Aatrox in top lane. I can play Cho'Gath, I can play Darius, I can play Mundo, Echo, Fiora, Galio, Gangplank, etc., etc., etc. So you can build up your entire roster of all the possibilities that you could have. And what you'll get is something like this. I own most of the champions of the game, so my list is very huge. Your list might be smaller if you don't own as many champions. And if you only plan on playing 1 or 2 roles, which will be possible with the new dynamic queue that's coming out, then you only have to do 1 or 2. But I really feel like you should do it for every single role. You should be able to play every single role if you're going to be playing ranked in the first place. So once you have this list of all the champions that can be played in every single role, the next step is to organize those champions based on which ones you have the most fun playing, because that's the most important thing. So you want to look at your list and say, alright, which champions in top lane do I enjoy playing the most? So, look at the kits, look at, what you like about the champion, what you dislike about the champion. Don't look at whether or not the champion is strong in the meta or whether the champion is overpowered. That's irrelevant at this point in the process. Just look at whether you enjoy playing the champion. So what you'll get is something like this, right? Where I've reorganized all the champions now into the ones that I find the most interesting at the top and the ones that I find the least interesting at the bottom. So the next step is what champions you're good with. So it's important for you to, depending on how much time you have, I mean, if you plan on starting ranked in a week, you might not be able to do this as much as I did. I had several months to do this, so I had plenty of time. But you want to play at least 1 game, preferably more, with each champion that you enjoy, starting at the top and working your way down. That's exactly what I did. I started at the top, I worked my way down, trying to play as many games with every single champion as I could. And then after those games, you want to give yourself a ranking with each champion. You want to really kind of be objective. Not You don't want to rate the champion on how strong he is or how overpowered he is. You want to rate him on how good you are with the champion. All right? Did you use his kit properly? Did you use your combos properly? Did you use your ult properly? Were you able to CS easily with the champion? Did you have difficulty controlling the champion? Is he the right ability level for you? If you're in a lower elo, you probably should not be playing very mechanically intense champions. And then conversely, maybe at higher elos, you probably want to focus more on those mechanically intensive champions because they allow for more outplay potential. So you have to be objective. Don't go off of, oh, this guy's really strong, so therefore I'm good with him. That's not how it works. Be objective with how well you did, regardless of how powerful or how weak the champion is. So after you do that, you pretty much you can either assign like a number score or you can assign a color. I decided to go with a color because it just made it very easy for me to understand things. So I wind up with this kind of graph where I've got my best champions in red, and then I've got blue, green, and then gray is the worst. So moving on to step 3, you want to look at how does the champion fit in the current meta. This is where you need to consider how strong is the champion in the current meta. And you can do that by looking at statistics, over, the entire spectrum of the game, thousands and thousands, millions of players that are playing. The two sites that I highly recommend are champion.gg and then also leagueofgraphs.com. Champion.gg is a fantastic site for Platinum Plus games. It gives you some really fantastic information on every single champion. League of Graphs is kind of more generic, but it gives you like a lot more raw data. It'll give you any skill level, so silver, bronze, gold, whatever you want, and it will give you a bunch of other statistics. Champion.gg is a little bit more tailored for plat and above and like build orders and things like that. But they're both fantastic sites. I highly recommend them. So anyway, so once you do that, you need to consider you want to look at the champions that are at the top of your list, and you want to look at the champions at the bottom of your list. So for the top of the list, you want to break those champions into the ones that you're really good at that are strong in the meta, and the ones that you're really good at that maybe aren't so strong in the meta. And then at the bottom of your list, you want to break those into champions that you're bad with but are strong, that maybe you should, play a little bit more in normals. And then also you want to break it into the ones that you're bad with, but they're not very strong, and you probably shouldn't waste your time on them. So if you look, I do that now. So now I've got the champions that I am good with, who are strong in the meta, are still in red. The champions that I am strong with but are not very strong in the meta, I have in purple now. And then at the bottom, I've split out the champions that I'm bad with but are strong in the meta. I put in the brownish orange, and the champions that I'm bad with that are bad in the meta, I put in the gray still. So moving on, the next part of step 3 is to consider the strengths and weaknesses of each champion and determine when you would pick them. That's really important. When would you pick them? Alright, and I'm not talking about like counter matchups. You want to look at, okay, in what team comp would I pick this champion? Or if the enemy team comp has a certain win condition, I would pick this champion to counter their win condition. Like if they have a lot of assassins, I probably want to pick up a Kayle or a Soraka or somebody who has some type of protection or sustain to help my team. Conversely, if I have like a team that has a bunch of team fighting potential, I might want to pick up a Malphite, or I might want to pick up a Sejuani, or a Misfortune, something like that. So you want to look at when does the champion work for a given team comp, or when is a certain champion good against an enemy team comp. After that, you want to pick 2 or 3 champions in your top, so in the red and purple, that you feel are very comfortable, that you're very comfortable with, that give you incredible versatility. So if we go over to my top lane, I have organized all of the champions. I've said when I need to pick them, and then I've given them color gradings inside of this top tier list that I have. And my number one choice is Gnar. I'm always going to default to Gnar in top lane because my team is usually going to need a tank. There's usually short range or mobile opponents in top lane, and a lot of times you're going to have at least one AP heavy champion. If Gnar is not available, then my next two are going to be Kayle and Malphite. And yeah, I would do this for every single role. So for jungle, Shyvana's going to be my top pick because she's a very good carry jungler who's also tanky. For mid lane, Kayle, because I feel like the assassin meta is becoming very strong, and Kayle is very good at countering assassins. For AD carry, I feel like Miss Fortune is a very strong pick because team fighting is especially strong. And Miss Fortune is one of the best team fighting AD carries. And then for support, I'm going to go with Soraka as my number one choice because I feel like Soraka is beastly strong, and she can single-handedly turn team fights with her healing ability. She's very frustrating to play against. So you can see that I've organized just my top tier champions into smaller tiers. And that's not to say that I won't ever play the champions that are in the blue or green. It's just that I'm going to play the majority of games with my red champion and my purple champions. So the last step of this entire process is you want to look at those chosen champions and determine what weaknesses you have in your champion pool. You're not going to have the perfect champion pool. There's always going to be ways that you can tweak it and improve it as the meta shifts and as you get better as a player. And you want to work on those weaknesses in normal games. That's the importance of the rest of this champion pool, is that not only am I putting my best champions on here, I'm also putting the number one contenders, the guys who might move up into my top spots for champions. So for example, if I look at my mid lane, I've got Kayle, Lux, Brand, Vel'Koz, Cho'Gath, and Viktor. If you notice, every single one of those is an AP champion. I have 0 AD mid laners that I feel really strong with. So that's a huge hole in my champion pool right now, is I don't have an AD mid laner. So when I look at my champion pool, I say to myself, okay, if I'm going to be doing normals, I want to practice an AD mid laner whenever I have the opportunity. So Zed, Yasuo, or Talon are the AD mid laners that I want to practice. So when you get it all said and done, this is what you get. This is the final product. And it doesn't take that much time. I know it looks like a lot of work, but it really doesn't take that much time, and it's not something that you have to rush. It's just something that you should have in the back of your head. And the way I have it set up here is that anytime I'm in Champion Select, I can just easily look and see, what champion I want to play. And I can look at my team and I can say, oh, the enemy team, yeah, they got a lot of AD, so I think I'm going to go Malphite this game. And that might be the best choice, even though Gnar is kind of my default pick. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope I explained my process for developing a champion pool and what my mentality is going into Season 6. But anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the content on the channel, please subscribe. If you have any questions on how to develop a champion pool, or if you have any suggestions for me, things that you've found work really well when you developed your champion pool, leave a comment so that way we can share knowledge and hopefully help more people. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. This is Randomonium, signing off.